Welcome back to AutoLooks Online. This week we're looking at the 2011 Nissan Juke. Okay, this thing is awe-inspiring just like the original Infiniti FX 35 and 45. Okay, this thing is something to change the SUV or say, crossover market. Not the greatest looking thing in the world, but you know what? For some people it's kind of neat. I personally am not a big fan of this thing, but I see some rally inspiration, some animal inspiration, and hey, maybe a little bit of car inspiration. I don't know. Let's take a look. Okay, up front they got some very odd looking headlights. You got lights up here, you got lights right here. Which one's your headlights? Which one are your fog lights? Which one's your turn signals? And really, why do you need two sets? You know what this thing kind of looks like? A frog. Seriously, look at a frog, look at this thing. I personally think someone at Nissan had a great idea and said, hey, is somebody make a car look like the head of a viper? Why can't we make something that looks like a frog? Frogs are great for going anywhere. They hop on lily pads, they swim in water, they go across mud, rocks, dirt, anything. Okay, not ice, because they sleep in the winter. But why don't we make a vehicle that's reminiscent of a frog? Okay, I think this is kind of cool. And why do I think it's cool? Because the frog is a really neat animal. Goes long distance, has a humongous tongue, and hey, you live underwater and above the ground. This thing, start to think, maybe it could do the exact same thing. But with a design like this, maybe not. This thing's kind of curving towards the cutesy side as opposed to the cool side. It's like looks like a Beetle or Mini Cooper for the last generation Ford Ka, and how about the Fiat 500? All kind of cutesy, cool, neat-looking vehicles, but not the world's greatest designs. Okay, this thing, decent-looking rims. Love the running boards on the side. Well, running board style. It's got a very neat roofline. Kind of curves up and then flat. Straight, flat, easy, smooth lines. But it works. I don't know, it just kind of works. It looks really odd, but it kind of works. Now, these headlights here, I don't know. They're kind of odd to get used to. It's either go with those or go with these. Don't use both. Your grill, I know you're going with this new, you're looking V-style grill, but I don't know. It's not the greatest looking thing. And personally, the way you've cut your grill, Nissan, wake up. You need to do something about that. It's not as bad as a Honda grill, but still, it's not the coolest looking thing in the world. Now, I'm giving you points up front because you got the integrated skid plate right along the bottom. Your fog lights are in a good spot, and you've darkened everything in to kind of make it disappear. I don't know. On your computer, you're probably looking at this thing going, hey, I can't see the bottom of this thing. That's good. Because all you want to see is the actual design, not all the added features. Look at the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. The added features at the bottom you can see, kind of makes it look kind of cheap. This thing blends in, disappears. Doesn't look that cheap. Now, moving on to the back end of this thing. Come on. You start to see. It's even weirder. Out back. Okay. Up front, it looks like a front. Out back, I don't even know what this thing looks like. But I don't know if they're trying to go with a hatch, a notch, a deck. Really? Like, what were they trying to do back here? It's a weird notch, hatch, trunk lid here. Because you actually do have your hatchback. You got your flat space here as a notch. I'm not too crazy about that. I think they should have just brought this whole back straight down. Kind of give the Nissan Murano or Rogue back end. Not, Almost like a Versa back end. Just a little too overboard Versa back end. Now, I know you've all heard about me talk about the winged taillights. This vehicle, it doesn't look that bad. Okay? How they kind of follow straight up along the side. But seriously, they should have just went with this. Tiny little thing right down here. There's no need for this wing up here. The wing's not the coolest looking thing. I ain't going to give you very good points on that. Why? It's just... you're dragging it out. It's like the... what's this say? The Lincoln MKT truck? Like that thing... well, Mark LT. That thing was not the greatest rear end in the world. Why? Because it had oversized reflectors. You don't need large reflectors in your back of the vehicle, okay? Paint usually reflects well at night. If you can't see the shine coming off somebody's paint, it's either a really flat color or you're kind of blind and you shouldn't be driving at night in the first place. Like, do away with those little reflectors at the top there. Moving on to the back. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. Your bumper does stick out quite a ways. You should have blended it a little bit better. Yeah. Your exhaust isn't really integrated, but it blends in. Probably because it's black on the bottom. Now, this black feature kind of hides stuff you don't need to see or don't want to see at the back end. Very good feature, but it's still hard to get used to. Okay, now for overall appeal in this thing, I gotta give it a 6. Why? It's weird, it's outgoing, it's not the world's greatest thing, but hey. It's a frog. Everybody loves frogs. Okay, overall appeal, it's all of its own. What else looks like this thing? This ain't no cookie cutter shape. Decent curves, decent flat ends. I'm not giving it too much for sport appeal because frogs ain't that sporty. Maybe if it looks like a rabbit, get a little bit more sport appeal. Sexy kind of resides on the mysterious, odd, alien, or even cute kind of style. I know. Women I know think this thing is kind of cute. Me personally, I think this thing ain't the greatest. It's not as bad as an Aztec, but almost there. But I don't know. Overall, I'm giving this thing a 6 out of 10. It's out of this world style, out of this world inspiration. A great new fad, great new features, but I don't know. Maybe it's going to take some time to get warmed up to this. So for right now, I'm going to leave it at a 6. Who knows? Maybe if they do an update in about 2 or 3 years, they can move that up to an 8 or a 9. For this week, we look at this all-inspiring frog of a vehicle, the Nissan Juke. Go and take one for a test drive. You might be surprised at how nimble a frog can be.